Yo, what's up? This is your girl Dragon. It's time for another quick tutorial. This is more of a question of the day. We have one coming in from Am20 at the Creative Block Discord. The question is there a way in Fortnite 1.0 to make a prop move and damage it? This was really fun to test out. Thank you for asking the questions. Again, if you guys do have questions, please drop them in the Discord. When I have time, I definitely will go in and make a video for you to help you figure it out. Now, what I did here to come to a conclusion of how to do this, I took 3 props and we have them set up with 3 different types of unique mechanic instances. One prop takes no damage no matter what you do to it. It moves back and forth on a ping pong type transition. We have one prop that basically it will go to a certain distance. It's going to stop, but you can only damage it when it's stopped. And then when it's moving again, you cannot damage it. I think that's a really cool one there. And then the next one, which is the statue. When you damage this prop, the player will receive a score. So, before I show you the test, this is how it's working. So basically you can pair your prop with a prop mover and manipulator device. It allows you to control prop damage behavior in very unique ways. Now keep in mind, for this to work, your environment damage must be set to all. If you are not familiar with where to find that, you're going to want to go to player and go down to, let's see here, equipment, and make sure your environment damage is set to all. Once that's done, you want to make sure you have these devices. You're going to need a prop mover, a prop manipulator, timer device, trigger, and score device if you're going to be using the additional setups. Now this is an awesome mechanic. You can create unique game modes where players would have to damage props at a set time to earn points, even open hidden levels or solve puzzles. So let's go ahead, I'll show you guys the run through and show you what it looks like. Let's go for it. All right, as you see, the props are moving normally as they should. And I have the timer displayed so you can see how that's working. Every 5 seconds, the palm tree is going to stop and then it's going to move again. All right, this is on a ping pong, and no matter what you do to it, it's not going to do anything. Now the tree is going to continue to move up to 20 meters or 20 tiles. So you have to catch up to it, and if it stops you can hit it, but I'm going to show you what happens when it's moving. Alright, so it's moving, let's catch up to it. It's not gonna, you can't destroy it, right? Let's see that again. Right, so you cannot destroy it. But when it stops, you can destroy it. And let me get back to the statue here. And the statue is set to one particular path, but we're going to start again and put it on a ping pong. So you can see when you hit this, you're going to get a score. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to set the statue on a ping pong. To ensure that it is good to go. All right, so it is on that ping pong path. And let me check to see. I'm going to take off all the collision here. So let's see, and I'll go back over these. All right, and the statue just is deciding not to ping pong, but there we go. We saw it does move, and then you can't hit that one. And then let's get this before it goes really, really super far. It's so fast. All right, let's stand like ahead of it. And now you can hit it, right? So let me go ahead and show you the settings so you can know how to set this up for yourself. All right, for setup number 1, the block, you're gonna need your prop and your prop mover and a prop manipulation device, or manipulator device, my apologies. All right, for the prop mover, these are the settings. Again, you want to adjust this for your game. So be sure to do so. Again, these settings can be adjusted to anything you like. What's really important is to ensure, you know, if you want it to damage a player, if it hits the player, you can definitely set that. And that is prop damage on, let's see here, player damage on collision. So be sure to set any particular characteristics you want for this particular prop to have while it's moving that fits your game mode. And again, these are the active settings that I have for this prop. All right, as for the prop manipulator device, we have So what's really important here is to set the prop to invulnerable. This will allow it not to be destroyed when it's hit. All right, next is the palm tree. So we have a little bit more going on. We have a timer that resets every 5 seconds. When the timer is successful, the palm tree will stop, and then it'll go again when it's triggered. So basically, when the timer hits 5, the palm tree stops, it activates the trigger then restarts the system, basically restarts the loop, and it continues. So let's take a look here. I'm having it to count up instead of down. It does start at the game start, and it resets, but it does not restart. We want the trigger to handle that, to give the player some time to reach the tree and hit the tree if they like. And you can also pair this with a score device so they get a point. That would be really cool. Or if, let's say, you need it to activate a particular door they need to open, or it's part of solving a puzzle. You can add additional mechanics to complete that loop. We want to start when receiving from the trigger untriggered. And then on success, we're going to disable the prop mover, which is connected to the palm tree. We're going to trigger the trigger device. And when that is triggered, it's going to start the timer again. And then it's also going to disable the prop manipulator device. This will allow the player to damage the tree while it's still. So keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at the trigger. We have a trigger delay of 5 seconds before it starts again. So we'll give the player 5 seconds to hit the tree, and then if not, it's going to start that timer again. It's going to start over, and they will have another chance once it stops again. These are the activating settings. So I have triggered by player turned off, triggered by pulse trigger is off, and so forth. This could be off as well, but this plays no difference in the overall things. If you are going to be using that, be sure to turn that on. And then the trigger delay is at 5 seconds. For functions, we're going to trigger when receiving from timer device, palm tree 1 on success, and then when it's triggered, we're going to enable the prop mover, start the timer device over again, and then enable the prop manipulator that's connected to the palm tree. All right, let's check out the devices here. So this is the prop manipulator connected to the palm tree, and we're going to go through the settings so you can see. And then a very good point here is to make sure the prop is invulnerable, and you want to modify prop health. All right, we're enabling when receiving from trigger, palm tree 1, disabling when receiving from timer device, palm tree 1 on success, and that should be already connected and binded when you set up your trigger and your timer device. All right, the prop mover. And these are all the modified options. We're enabling when receiving from the trigger device and disabling when receiving from the timer device. And there's no events. And there you go. Next is the statue. So with the statue, we have a score device, our score manager device, and we have, of course, prop manipulator and a prop mover. So let's check out the score manager. This is very basic. It's only awarding 1 point. So you want to make sure score value is set to 1. Score award type is add. And for this tutorial, activating team is any. It can trigger any time for an infinite amount of times. And you want to increment score on awarding, and we're going to be active when it's activated. We're going to award a score of 1 point and so forth. All right, as for functions, and this is just a quick review of the modified options here. All right, cool. And then for functions, we're going to activate when receiving from the prop manipulator device on destroyed, enable when receiving from the player spawn or prop mover, and on spawn. So this is basically when the player spawns into the game. This is the player spawner device. We need to enable the score manager. You can use a different trigger for that, whatever works for you. For instance, you can use round setting device, you could use a particular trigger connected to something else. However you want this to be enabled. I do recommend that you try to enable it at the beginning of the game, but maybe a certain instance for you would work best. All right, next we have the prop manipulator device for the statue. And then on destroyed, we're going to send an event to the score manager to activate. That's going to give that player that 1 point once they hit that statue and destroy it. All right, next is the prop mover. You see there's no functions and there are no events. All right, super simple. And I hope that this has been beneficial. Again, let's go ahead and run that test so we can see what we built. Oh, and the statue is ping-ponging now. Let's see. Awesome. Got it. All right, and then this one you can't do anything with. And then this one I gotta catch up to. And get ahead of it. All right, and you can see I can't destroy it until it stops, and we'll do just one more. All right, it stopped. I got it. All right, cool. So it's really cool to add like a point system to that, or maybe once they get it, something displays, you know, maybe a hidden door or a chest or something like that would be really cool. Some type of, you know, a loop for that would be really neat. Some type of interesting event. But that concludes the question of the day. What an amazing question, because I think you know, this is probably easier to do in UEFN, but for Fortnite 1.0 it's definitely a challenge, but it can be done. And I hope that this quick tutorial has answered your question of the day, AM20. Thank you for it, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.